Hello and welcome back to the Connemara Quarantine Kitchen in a special requests episode. I'm coming to you today from the roof. Over my shoulder you can see the sea where I'm going to have to start washing myself pretty soon if we don't get any rain. It's another glorious day in the west of Ireland and I've come to the conclusion that whoever's in charge of the weather, God, Shiva, Buddha, Odin, I don't know, has got a wicked sense of humour. Wait until the tastiest people on the planet are locked up, can't go to the beach or the park, and then give them the best spring in living memory. Nice one. Lockdown is making us all a little bit crazy. I mean, I've got a Mohican, a moustache, and a soul patch. Tell me I'm not going mad. I think it's obviously making my sister a little bit crazy, because while she's been a vegetarian for many, many years now, she requested something with chicken. I've also had a request for something sweet from someone sweet. So, without further ado, let's go back downstairs and make our quarantine chicken burger, followed by poached pears with chocolate sauce. I'm down from the roof and back in the kitchen. So, what do we need to make this two-course meal? Very easy. You need some sort of frying pan, some sort of pot with a lid, a small saucepan, baking tray, our obligatory chopping board and good knife, and some sort of bowl. One of which you'll need to be able to cover. And that's it. While the renovation of the quarantine kitchen itself has been continuing apace, that pace has been hampered by the good weather. I mean, I've been forced, I mean literally forced, to loll around in the sun and drink cider. What are you going to do? Anyway, I'd still have not very many surfaces, as Zoe kindly pointed out in the last episode. I've moved into the dining room and I'll be doing my prep in here. So today we're going to be making buttermilk chicken burgers served with wedges and a slaw of sorts, followed by poached pears with a chocolate sauce. For the chicken burgers we need chicken. So I have chicken thighs. These are deboned because they're nice and thin. You don't want anything too thick because it doesn't take very long to fry, and you don't want undercooked chicken, poison anybody and clog up our hospitals. If you have chicken breasts, then flatten them out. Put them between a couple of bits of cling film and bash them with an empty wine bottle. Works well. We're also going to need a bun, of course. Going to need 150 grams of plain white flour, about 50 grams of corn flour if you have it. If not, flour itself will do fine. We're going to need some paprika, some cayenne pepper and some oregano. I can't say oregano. Ever since Tom Cruise said a dime bag of oregano, that's all I can say now.
A dime bag of oregano.
We're going to need some buttermilk and some salt and pepper. For the slaw, I have here some red cabbage, some carrot, just slightly grated, some coriander, half a red onion, wedge of lime, and a little bit of mayo. For our spicy wedges, we have one potato, reasonably long, so you make it into nice long, thin wedges. I've got about 20 grams worth of parmesan, some oregano,
Oregano, Dave. There's $10 worth of oregano.
And some paprika. Oh, and some rapeseed oil. And finally, for our pears, we need a nice, ripe, firm pear. We need some cider. We need some dark chocolate, some cream, and as a little optional extra, some brandy. Because brandy and chocolate together are a dream combination. Now, this may seem like a lot of ingredients, but don't worry, it's a really simple recipe. If you can't get buttermilk for the chicken, then yogurt will also do. And there are a lot of ingredients, but they're not particularly exotic. We should still be able to get most things for the moment, okay? So, the first thing we need to do is to marinate our chicken. So take a bowl that you can cover or some sort of plastic container, and we need to pour in about 250 mils of our buttermilk. That should do, enough to cover everything. Into that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and 1 teaspoon of oregano. I'm also going to add a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper, and give it a good mix. Try not to get too much of it on the cooking cardigan. That's done, you should have a nice sort of pinkish liquid here. Into that go our chicken thighs. Make sure they're nicely covered. Then we cover this up and it goes in the fridge for 2 hours. Now that's gone in the fridge, and while the chicken is soaking up all that lovely marinade, we're going to do the rest of the prep. Okay, so first thing, take a reasonably sized bowl and add our flour and our corn flour, and exactly the same as the chicken, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. If you haven't got cayenne, chili works just as well. In they all go, and give it a good mix. Okay, once it's all broken up, our obligatory seasoning, salt, pepper, stir it all in, good to go. Next, let's make our slaw. Our chopping board and our knife, and we're going to shred the cabbage very as finely as you can. Much easier standing up. Add that to a bowl. Let's add the carrots, add the coriander, and again we want to finely slice into half moons the onion. Red onion is best, but any sort of onion really. We're going to squeeze our lime in, and then finally we're going to add our mayo, leaving a little tiny bit for the burger itself. Give it a good old mix. Possibly in a bigger bowl than this, but anyway, this will work. And if you have anything else in your fridge, your fennel would be nice, anything you fancy. Just something fresh on the side. Now this can be set aside, also in the fridge. And finally, onto our wedges. Take our potato. I have just scrubbed this down. We leave the skin on, slice it down the middle, and then cut diagonal wedges. More or less even in size, but nice and long, like that. Pop them into a bowl. To our bowl, we're going to add our oregano and our paprika, followed by parmesan. And add to the bowl a good glug of oil. I'm using rapeseed oil, olive oil, good, but any oil. A tastier oil will be better. And give it a good mix. Now, I have a lid for this bowl, so I should mix it. Cocktail style. Excellent. That can all wait for another hour and 45 while chicken still marinates. Through the magic of television, I'll be back in a second. Now, the chicken has been in the fridge marinating for about an hour and a half. It's time to get our potatoes on, so they'll take the longest. They'll take about 40 to 50 minutes. I have the oven preheated to 220 degrees, or 200 fan, or about 450 Fahrenheit, or guess with mine. What we're going to have to do is get our potatoes, give them a nice old mix, make sure they're covered in that lovely flavoured oil, and then lay them out skin side down on a baking tray, and we won't touch them until they're done. And what you can also do is just brush them with some of this lovely juice. Or if like me you don't have a brush, a spoon will do. And into the oven they go. Potatoes have been in the oven for about 30 minutes, so let's give them a quick check and see how they're getting on. Now, perfect. I'd say they need another about 10 minutes. I'll put them at the top of the oven just to crisp off. So, now the next thing we need to do is to get going on the pear. Into the pan with the lid, pour 1 can, nice sweet cider. I have Bulmers here, or Magners as it's known in the UK. For America, hard cider, stuff with the booze in it. Into our cider goes our miraculously now peeled pear. Magic of television, eh? Now, optional, I've also, nice if you have it, got a little bit of cinnamon stick and a couple of cloves. Now we're going to put this on a low heat, just simmering away, and it's going to take about 20 minutes more or less. Cover it up, leave it be. There's no need for sugar, as the sweet cider is enough. And what's good enough for the pear is good enough for me. Cheers. Now, it's chicken time. In my frying pan here, I have about 1 centimetre of sunflower oil. I would use rapeseed oil, but I'm not a millionaire, so sunflower oil it is. If you have a deep fat fryer, brilliant. If you don't, frying pan and oil is fine. You've got about 1 centimetre deep, because it wants to cook on the sides as well. Let's go ahead, coat our chicken, and get cooking. We have our flour mixture, flour and spices. We have our lovely marinated chicken. So with nice clean hands, take chicken thigh, dredge it, that's the technical term. Make sure it's all nice and covered. Then, this is the trick. Back into the milk, buttermilk mixture. and back into the flour. Work it into all the little nooks and crannies. Shake off the excess and get it into the hot oil. Now remember, when putting it into the hot oil, the key is to lay it away from you so you don't burn yourself like this. Now because these are quite thin, they really won't take very long. Maybe 2 minutes on one side, flip it over. Perfect. Have another 2 minutes on the other side. Now I have here just a baking tray with a wire rack to drain them on. Lovely. Drain any excess oil and put it on our rack. Number 2 is almost ready too. And there we have buttermilk fried chicken. Now, the potatoes are out of the oven, the pear is bubbling away nicely, it's time to plate up. I'm going to take a burger bun, and very simply, because with all the flavours in the chicken, just a little bit of mayo, didn't use earlier on, and a little bit of lettuce. You can add whatever you want, but the chicken speaks for itself here. Chicken on top. I know it's a bit poncy to slice it, but it's a good idea with a chicken burger. Make sure it's cooked all the way through. Back to our slaw from earlier on. A good dollop on there. And look at these lovely, crispy, homemade wedges. What about that? Now. Absolutely gorgeous. I won't force you to watch me eating the whole of this thing, but I'll be back for dessert. Now, that was gorgeous, and I'm totally full, but I've committed to making a dessert. I've started, so I'll finish. Our pear has been bubbling away nicely for probably about 30 minutes by now. Now we're going to make our chocolate sauce. In a saucepan, over a low heat, we get 250 ml of fresh single cream. And we're going to heat this up. Make sure we don't let it boil. We just want it to gradually warm up. As it's getting warm, then what we'll do is we'll add our chocolate and a little bit of brandy, and that's it. So now our cream has begun to warm up. I can just see a little bit of steam coming off the top of it. We go in with our chocolate, straight into the pan, and our brandy. Now, brandy and chocolate is the basis for Brandy Alexander. So, it's even appropriate. Keep on stirring until all the chocolate melts. And it should form a nice, thick, creamy sauce. Now that the chocolate has all melted, we're just going to leave it on a low heat and keep on stirring it while it thickens up. You'll be able to feel it. Just make sure you don't let it boil. A couple of little bubbles should be good to go. Smells fantastic. Now this is starting to thicken up nicely. Taste? That's good. But this is actually a darker chocolate than I would normally use. I think it's something like 85%. So it just needs a little bit of sweetening, a teaspoon of sugar. Keep on stirring. Probably take 2 or 3 minutes to get up to the right consistency. You'll know. We've taken it to almost the point of boiling, and it's getting to be a lovely consistency. If we give any more, it will split. So we'll see when we pour it out, but it smells fantastic. Now I know there's rather a lot here, way too much for my pear, but don't worry, it won't go to waste. It can stay in the fridge for up to 3 days, or you can have it as drink it as hot chocolate, or add some more brandy to it and have a brandy hot chocolate. Fantastic. Now let's get it all on a plate. There's our lovely pear. Now here's a little trick. Because pears are not genetically modified to sit up on plates, what we do is we make a flat bottom on them. Nick the end of it. Then you should hopefully, there we go, stand up to attention on the plate. Pour the brandy chocolate sauce over the top. Now doesn't that look fantastic? Now, if you have ice cream, you can have ice cream with it, or cream. I'm just going to have it like this. Just before I tuck into my dessert, a huge thanks to everyone who's liked, subscribed, written comments, suggestions. Shout out to Zoe. I know you want me to do baking, but that's not really what mad uncles do. I'll practice and see what I can do. Shout out to Clive in New Zealand, who's taken me to Oz as well. I've got people watching in Korea. It's amazing. Keep it coming, and thanks to everybody. Sinful. Delicious. See you for the next one. Bye.